Today I'm going to be sharing with you the answer to the most frequently asked question that I received in direct messages on Instagram while I hang out with my injured pup because she needs some love and attention and cuddling. Hi, my name's Zach. I am a recovering man-child and I'm an invisible labor educator for men. I've been wanting to make this video for a bit because I find myself making this same audio response in shorter form, and I want to be able to refer people over to the longer, more in-depth answer to it. The most frequently asked question that I get in DM is, Zach, what was your aha moment? How did you get to be of this mindset that you're currently in? What did you do? What were the things that happened? And how can I, and the implied question is, how can I replicate that for my partner? And I'm gonna do my best to be concise. This is the third time I've tried to make this video. This is arguably the best one now that I get Aspen kisses. This is Aspen, our Great Pyrenees. Lay down, honey, lay down. So there's a couple ways I can respond to this. So I'm gonna give you an outline of what you're gonna hear first. There's a bad answer to the question, which is I've had multiple things that have created a buildup of epiphanies that have led me to where I am. So I think getting a guy straight to kind of where I am with one thing, not great. And what I'm gonna lead you straight to actually is a podcast. So I was answering this question on a podcast, and I pointed out that Alyssa had tried to bring this to me back in 2020. She had shared an article with me and she was scared to bring it to me. She was afraid I was gonna be too defensive. She thinks she sent the article. I'm not sure if I ever read it and or if I responded to it. We don't recall that conversation, but she remembers it in general. The question that was asked of me was, what did I need to hear at that time, looking back, for me to be able to be receptive? And so to make this video short is I'm gonna answer that question, which is arguably a better answer to what I think a lot of people are looking for when they ask me that. So first off, I'm gonna say I think that the ability to speak to invisible labor with mental load, with emotional labor, invisible labor, is having that language, having those words in my vocabulary, being able to point to it. If you can't point to it, it's really hard to articulate. And so I think the super short answer is I needed the vocab, I needed those words. However, right now, I think for a lot of guys, those words can be really triggering. My friend Paige Turner made a video about this, pointing about how it's triggering. I tried making a response video, which in 60 or 90 seconds, it didn't come out, and a lot of women that follow me really didn't like it. So I'm hoping that you guys listen to a little bit more of it here with some nuance. You're already doing, so I think a huge reason that it's triggering for a lot of guys is because it's this moment of like, it's something that a lot of domestic laborers, moms, women, are engaging in. And mental load is like their word. It is something that is very much in existence for them. And it's not something that's being talked about on a corporate level or in the context of a lot of other guys' careers. So rather than seeing it as an objective thing, it seems like a subjective thing that only moms, women, and domestic laborers deal with. So here is my solution. And I don't love the solution because it does require additional emotional labor from the person presenting it. However, for most people watching this video are likely receiving it because I've sent it to them as a response to the DM question that they sent me. So you're already doing the emotional labor, you're already trying to find answers, you're already trying to find a way to re-articulate this point to your partner, and short form videos just don't do it. So I don't love it, but here's the answer. I want you to start introducing those words in a more objective fashion. Rather than, I think a lot of folks are having their partners, I'm gonna give a really typical scenario. Wife is holding on to all the mental load of communicating with in-laws and thinking around the holidays and gift giving and thinking about what's a good gift and planning and date night planning and looking at the grocery list, creating the grocery list, and absurd cases I've heard of women writing them down in order of where they show up in the grocery store, insane amounts of mental load. And all of that occurs as things that men are not doing, but women are doing. And so it's like gendered. And so what I want to introduce you to is the idea of really making it objective and using it in such a way that they can hear where they're doing the mental load. So for example, a guy comes home and is saying, man, I can't wait till they fired Jimmy. Oh, wow, what happened? Man, Jimmy, every time he always asks me the same question every couple days. Hey, what's the password to this thing? We're not allowed to put it on a sticky note. He doesn't bother to put it in his phone or remember it or learn it. He just always asks me. So I care, and so I'm every couple days I'm telling him the same thing. Here's your response. Wow, sounds like you do a lot of mental load for him. If we can start including these words in a place where the guy's gonna see them doing it and the pain or the challenge or just like the objective, like, oh, this is what mental load is, then we can start to have them have some ownership of the word. Oh, I carry mental load too. And so then it's less triggering when they say, when you come to them and you say, I don't know if you realize this, but I carry the majority of the mental load around the groceries here. By the time that it's been introduced in their language in places where they're confident and where they're holding the mental load, they can much more objectively understand, yeah, you do hold the mental load. That's right. I'll give an emotional labor example. And honey, every time I try to talk to my boss, I have to be really careful to massage his ego and, make sure that I'm, saying good things, asking him about his kids or his dog or his golf game before. Gotta kind of butter him up before I can ever ask anything or like get help. And it's so dumb. That's just part of his job as being like a manager and helping me out. I hate that I have to do this. Oh, honey, it sounds like, wow, you do a lot of emotional labor for your boss to make sure that, his fragile ego is sort of managed. Again, in that moment, you're labeling something that they're doing, some effort that they're exerting, and giving it some language that you can also transfer over to what you're trying to explain in your own life and your own experience that you're trying to relay to them. So then when you're talking about, God bless you. So then when you're saying like, oh man, I'm not ready for your mom to come over. Why? What's wrong with my mom? Oh, well, it's a lot of emotional labor to talk with her when she comes over and, she has all these things and it's just a lot. Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess you do a lot of emotional labor. Wait, like what? Well, when she comes over and she's talking about how her knitting game and, the grandkids she wants to see the grandkids. She hasn't seen enough of the grandkids, or she really needs to be heard, or she has a new gift and we got to make sure that we acknowledge the hell out of that gift. Like, thank you so much for it, even when it's like something we really don't need. We got to pour it on thick to make sure that she feels heard and appreciated for her gift giving. I don't know if this is a good example necessarily, but I think you get the point. Is if we can create that language with them before we want to talk about some of the challenges that we're dealing with, I think they're gonna have an easier time. Again, I know this creates extra emotional labor for many of the women that are asking me. And again, I think you're already doing the emotional labor. I'm hoping that this is a better adjustment. Again, the short answer is just start introducing those words, just like emotional intelligence. I think if we can start introducing these vocab words into our lexicon, into our culture, when they have something to point to, they become more valuable. I hope this made a difference. I hope that this is a decent little roadmap for getting some of those conversations kicked off with your partner. And I'm hoping that you're having better conversations. If you want more, obviously I drop shorts all the time. Pretty much all those shorts that are over 60 seconds get posted onto here. I have a ton of mental labor examples. I'm working on building the playlist. Hopefully, if you're seeing this some months or years after I've posted it, you will see a nice clean playlist. If you're interested in my services, book Relationship Goals Consult, or if you're, I know this will be up for a while, so it may have been called something different by now, but I do have coaching services. And if you want a little bit more on mental load, get the free Mental Load 101 download. Can you tell them goodbye? You've been very nice. Thank you for listening. I hope this made a difference. Let me know in the comments what else you guys want in this long form. Thank you.